And we are back. There we go. All right, let's find out how Lady Simone likes this likes this news I have for her.
Yep. Cool. So when we next see Bina, she is bathed and dressed and in the Great Hall. And unlike Vodnar, who would be sitting on like a throne above people, right? In like the high seat of the house, which is his right. It's like that's cool. Simone and Svenja and the squires, Sasha and Goats, and they are kind of sitting on benches. It almost seems casual. And there is like an older man there with a with a well-trimmed beard and as you gather that he's Rasmus. Like, matter of fact, they make introductions, right? And Simone is in I want to say a wheelchair, but it's like, the medieval facsimile of a wheelchair that a lord would have if she had like a horsing accident and couldn't get around herself.
Right.
With the use of her legs. So she's seated. She has like a special chair with you're someone like your husband, a wheelwright, and some carpenters have made. And I think the five wheels, the five holy wheels are put around are put on different parts of the seat. And she says, "My dear, I need you to tell me what happened with your eye. And I need you to be honest."
And I think Bina has like brought her like her little knapsack with her. As she's come in.
I think you also get like a better look at Svenja because she doesn't have her helmet. And like Svenja has like a darkish red hair, and her mother Simone, they look a lot alike, and her hair has gone totally white. And both of them keep it kind of tightly braided for for helmet wear.
Even Simone, although she's not.
She seems to still keep it that way out of habit.
Cool. So I sit with them, if that's okay. It doesn't seem like it's weird to sit across the table from them, because standing while they're sitting seems strange to Bina. And I sort of have my little rucksack to my side, and I say, "Is Voss okay?"
He's fine.
I see this. Your squires have returned.
He's fine. He's having some drinks with some of our guards.
So he's in custody then.
There's nothing formal yet. I'm going to be blunt with you. Men like Voss are right on the edge of turning bandit. I've seen it 1,000 times, and my mother saw it before her, and before her.
That may be true, and Voss may have done horrible things, but he's never done them to me. Let me tell you a story, and hopefully you will believe me. And I kind of look to Rasmus, who isn't what I expected. I imagine like crazy, scraggly, weird beard. You know, I didn't imagine something well trimmed, right? As many misconceptions as Elka had about Bodnar, I have about wizards, right? Like so.
Right. Yeah, he's kind of handsome.
Yeah. And I'm about to start, and I'm like, is your son? I've heard much of your son, Fenric.
Really?
Will he join us?
Not at the moment.
I've lived only some of my life in Karakagi. There was a raid, and I was taken captive, and given to Lord Bodnar as a servant. I eventually earned my freedom, but continued to serve him as he kept the roof over my head. So I'm very well acquainted with bandits and their ways. I've been bought and sold and freed again. And I was very content, if perhaps a little bored, living in Karakagi with my husband and my child, or as safe as they can be right now. And then I think, instead of going with the like whole, because when she sort of starts off with like the grandiose story, everybody thinks she's making it up. She gets really detailed about like a rider came in, he saw troops. This is the first thing that she learned was, a rider had come in and he had seen, was it Voss that reported it? Was he the one that said?
Yeah, I think he might have.
I think it was Voss, because Voss was the one who told Bodnar, and she was there when it happened.
Yeah.
And so I say, you can ask Voss. And then she realizes, well, if you think that I'm protecting him, maybe you wouldn't trust him either. But anyway, an army was seen, and they were moving. They were moving to the north, an army unlike one ever seen in my lifetime. And I'm guessing that her words are probably not sufficient. I mean, I think that her expectation is that they're not going to believe her, because so far no one has.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look. Well, I guess I should wait. I should wait and see. I shouldn't make assumptions. I have ideas for what to say if they don't believe her, but this turns into a duel of wits. I'm going to save them for
right.
My feeble points.
Right.
So, yeah. So when she sort of spells out the story as she's seen it, what's their reaction?
Yeah, Simone has questions. She says, so, and I guess I need to know, how much do you tell them? Like, do you mention stuff about your daughter? Do you just mention like Voss said they were coming, and so?
Yeah, I think I just tell her the story of the history, the Soldier's Lament, mm-hmm. And the old tower and how it burnt down, as well as the what Voss saw. So I don't think, and if she knows Bodnar, I don't know if she knows him personally or by reputation, but of his intent to flee because he knew it was true. So I think I tell her the mundane things, and then we'll see how those go.
Yeah.
If we have to, if that doesn't suffice, then I can dig deeper. But I'm afraid right now, Bina's afraid that if she starts telling her about magical elves and shit, that she's gonna think she's crazy. So she's trying to like stick with. It's not that she's holding back; it's just she's trying to stick with the simplest things, the most believable things.
Yeah, they nod. I mean, and Simone doesn't want to say like that sounds like Bodnar, but that's kind of what she says. She says, I mean, her exact words. Uh, what you're saying lines up with what I remember of Bodnar and the times I've met him.
I don't mean to speak ill of my lord.
No, no, you're just speaking. I think Rasmus says, you're not speaking ill, you're speaking the truth. And Svenja says, I am sorry. It seemed like. Wait, but how? So the elves have attacked? You lost the eye in an attack? Karkagi has been taken by the elvish host?
Not yet. There was one. She starts opening up her knapsack. There was one elf that we found. She's being real vague about the we right now, but that we found in Karakagi. I don't know if he was a scout or a herald. Well, he could have been both. But he told me that when his sister, who led the armies, and I think he gave me her name. Sean doesn't remember it, but I'm pretty sure he told me the name of his sister. And if Vienna knows, she'll say it. That his sister who led the armies, when she arrives, a storm precedes her, and as he spoke, the rains began to come to Karkagi. I don't know how long they have before the elves arrive, but my hope is to be able to speak with the dwarves to the north and find some peace between them before the war begins. I think the best thing you could do would be to keep your gates locked and ration your provisions. Because if I fail, then you may also one day have a cursed old tower like we do. And I think that's when she pulls out the wheel, because it feels like it's the right time to try and convince them. And she says, Wizard Rasmus, do you know Elvish runes? Would you recognize them when you saw them?
I would.
And do you think that a peasant wife of a wheelwright would know how to inscribe them herself?
I think probably not.
Then I hope that you'll believe that I did not make these, and that this was a warning. And then she pulls it out.
My dear, this is not a warning. This says elf friend.
For reasons I don't know, the elves that were in Karakagi took my daughter as their friend. Said that she would come to no harm, and gave her and inscribed this on them on a toy of hers. but it will not protect the rest of us.
Yeah. And I think like at that detail, like Simone looks almost impatient with how like complicated this is all getting. Like she's just like and not at you, just at like the world. Like she thinks this is true. Like you get the feeling that like truth is settling in on this shit.
Yeah.
And they believe you. And she just looks like almost frustrated that
Right.
the world is this stupid. And she turns to Rasmus and she says, "Do you want to make some sense out of this for us, or did you just come here to fondle my son? Earn your keep, wizard. Why do a group of elves go to Karakage and carve elf friend on a child's toy? And no offense, but a peasant child."
I think
Well,
Bina bristles a tiny bit because it's like, that's my daughter.
right.
But, you know, I mean, she sits up straighter. That's you know, doesn't really have anything to say to it, but
Yeah.
it does it does sting a little bit.
Yeah. And Rasmus says they might not have the same ideas of birth that we do, but we know that they have some ideas. There is Itharcal blood, as they call it. How did you lose? I feel like there's a clue here that we're missing. May I ask about the wound?
The elf that my daughter called the bad elf, which leads me to believe that there were other elves. She said she heard a host of them, but I could not see them. I think through their magic, they hid themselves from my sight until they wanted to be seen. The elf given to spite and wrath, who told me of his sister and her armies. I pleaded to him to heed the old songs and remember the misery that had been caused the last time they went to war. And he told me that a song is not meant to be spoken, but to be sung. And there's a beautiful girl in my village who has a beautiful voice, and she sings a soldier's lament. That girl is not me. And when I tried to sing for him, I could not perform to the ability that he expected. And I woke, and he had taken my eye. Elves know the beauty of elves that I have heard is true, but the terror of them no one ever speaks of.
All right. This is starting to come together. Let's think about this. The bad elf, as your daughter put it, which is as good a way to put it as any. He said his sister was coming.
Yes.
And his sister would be storms would
precede her.
Would precede her. All right. And he took your eye for not singing properly. So we can assume this is a bad elf. So let's imagine that this sister sends scouts to Karakage. Probably don't just send one. Probably send a group. And they come upon your daughter.
She was at the old tower, the cursed tower, called so because it fell during the last war.
Right. They would check that first.
And she heard them singing.
Right.
She could see them, and I could not.
Or she was there before you were there. Who knows? Children get up to all kinds of mischief. and there's a bad elf there. And what does he want to do? He wants to kill her. But maybe there is another elf. Let's assume, let's hope. I don't think this bad elf declared your daughter an elf friend. But maybe he wanted to kill her. And so another elf declared her an elf friend in order to save her life.
I owe that elf a debt then. I think what you're saying makes sense. It stands that this evil elf would still abide by his people's laws if he was representing his sister, who is their leader. He would abide by someone calling my daughter an elf friend.
And
but clearly he could see that I was not. And I kind of, adjust the bandage that itches.
He hands you the wheel back and says, you should hold on to this. And then he turns to Simone and says, I believe your daughter owes Master Voss Hunter an apology. And Svenja says, I'll go get Voss. And before she leaves, she says, I'm sorry I didn't believe you.
I understand why. It's a story I probably wouldn't have believed if I didn't see it myself. I think Bina, it occurs to Bina, she can't just start saying this the next time she sees somebody. She's got to slow it down a little,
Right. And Simone says, we need to convene the Iron Dukes. And they start talking amongst themselves about what politics they need to deal with. And Rasmus kind of comes over and sits next to you. And you two are kind of her and her squires and her other folks. I think her son Fenric kind of comes in and joins. And so they're having a little powwow, but Rasmus comes over to you and says, Bina, why did you leave home? What did you hope to accomplish?
Well, the old stories tell of a soldier who tried to make a peace between the elves and the dwarves, who went and sought to find some common ground between them.
Yes, but it's lament. He dies.
But he tried. I don't particularly like the idea of dying upon an elven blade or a dwarven axe, but if we don't try, then we'll all be trampled to the ground, trampled into the earth. My daughter, my husband, everyone I know and care about. The village, Karakagi, was decimated the last time. There was nothing left of it but the ruins of an old tower.
And
I'm a soldier.
And again, I ask, what were you going to do?
The Dwarven host. They're only a few days to the north. A war is not fought one-sided.
Huh.
Perhaps they will see more reason than the elves do. I'm going to travel north and speak with them. The Iron Dukes will bring swords, not words. They may protect people, but they won't stop the war. If they even come at all.
And then he totally changes the subject. He says, where do they have you sleeping?
In the servants' quarters. In the guest quarters.
Someone staying in there with you so you don't get lost at night?
That's what we told our guests as well when we wanted to make sure they didn't steal the silverware.
Right. Bina, I think you will find that that maid is going to sleep very well tonight. She'll be fine. She'll wake up in the morning with just strange dreams, but she's going to sleep very well. I can't do anything else for you while I'm a guest here, but I can do that.
I appreciate your kindness, but you say while you're a guest here. I know nothing of wizards, but did you come here, as the lady said, just to visit her son? Or do you have some other business? Because if you don't, I would gladly have you on our journey.
I don't think your journey is my journey. I will have some part to play in this, but it is not yours. Good luck, Bina.
And I think I say, I am weary from travel and still recovering. I kind of say this to the room. And I seek to see Voss again. If you will excuse me, I'm going to retire for the evening. Kind of, excuse myself, and then directly to Rasmus, I say thank you for your help and for the clarity that you brought here.
Good luck.
And I think Bina gets like halfway to the out, and then she like steps to the right a little and
Right.
like wonders to see if like the same floorboard will creak as it
No,
does.
no,
at
it's
home.
it's different floorboards here. It's not quite that the same.
And then she's like, okay, some things are different, some things are the same. And then
Yes.
unless with camera sees for a second her bare feet on the wood, and
right
as it goes, as it's still yeah. And then I look for Voss.
Yeah, I think Voss comes back. They've got him in a guest room across the hall. Matter of fact, he's in a room with some of the house guards. Nice. Actually, no, fuck that. He's in the stable.
Yeah.
He is straight up in the stable.
Are you okay? Did they hurt you?
No. I'm a little bruised, but I'm all right.
I'm so sorry. I didn't think.
No, I didn't even think about how it would look. I didn't think very much at all. I'm not.
You would never do this to me.
I'm not good at this, Bina. I'm not good at adventures.
Who
I go
is?
on the road. I go into the forest.
Well, that's where we're going, on the road into the woods. You know it better than I do.
This is different. We have to deal with people. I avoid people.
Well, I'm used to dealing with people. I deal with them all the time.
You wanted a hero on your adventure. I just don't know that I'm that hero.
Of course you are. You're the one who's gotten me this far. You knew the night and made introductions. You have kept me safe from bandits. And she walks over and says, I'm not looking for a hero. I'm just looking for a good, I don't particularly want to gender this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just looking for a good man.
I'm sorry, I'm not doing better at this.
It was me talking of dwarves and elves that got that spooked Svenja. She thought I was speaking nonsense. I'll be more careful next time. The next town that we're in. But we're not far. You said it was only a few days further towards the Dwarven host. And look, I have good news. This I don't know if I've told Voss this or not. I don't know how much I told him about Nara. But the wizard who was in the wizard Rasmus, he told me that I bore a token of the elves' friendship. Now, that may not make me a dwarf friend, but perhaps it is something I could bargain with. Or perhaps it'll just keep me from losing another eye to an elf, to an angry elf.
That's good. It's very good.
But Bina genuinely wants to convince Voss that he is all that she needs. He doesn't want him to be filled with doubt. And,
right.
And I mean, she certainly doesn't want him to quit on her. But more importantly, she doesn't want, she definitely doesn't want him to quit on her. And she also wants him to feel confident in that, you know, they've been doing fine so far.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if he still looks reluctant and still seems like he feels unsure, then I think she'll kind of cozy up to him and enumerate the things that they've done so far, remind him that he was the one who warned them in the first place, that he's the first one who scouted the army, that if not for him, you know, we would all have been the first time we knew the elves would be when the storm crashed, you know, and the walls fell.
Sound like an Ob 3 soothing platitudes roll?
That sounds good. That sounds good. I'd like to fork in gossip wise because I've heard all sorts of things about Voss that other people have said.
Cool.
And I think it's fair to say, like, you know, the servants know you. You know, like you know, you may think you don't know people, but a lot of people know who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably it. No, I'm gonna push for one more. I'm gonna push for work-wise as well, because I'm specifically saying, like, I don't need you to be a big damn hero. I just need you to be someone who, like, knows how to travel on the roads, knows how to do your job as a hunter. And
nice. I'll take that. Yep.
And cool. All right. It's Ob 3. I'm gonna spend some persona, I think, because it's important.
Yeah.
And I believe I have some. Let's pull this up. Okay, I have 6. Oh, I have all sorts of persona. Okay, I have 6 fate and 4 persona. So let's. Okay, I'm gonna spend 1 persona to grit my teeth. It kind of doesn't do anything. I'm gonna spend 1 persona to grit my teeth, which will get rid of my wound penalty, which is kind of like 6-1 half to the other, because I could just spend it for an extra die. And yeah, and I guess I'll spend 1 more for an extra. So I'm gonna spend 2 for effectively 2 extra dice. And I don't think. Yeah, I don't have a superficial wound, so fate won't do me any good. Okay, so Soothing platitudes. All right, I'm gonna get a net +1 die from spending 2 persona, +1 from gossip wise, +1 from work wise. I'm gonna have 3 dice.
Must be getting incredible tests on this, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of my beginner's luck tests of Artha. I don't want to put in. I'm not gonna put anything in Artha because I already added it in. Ob 3. Yes! Oh my god!
Nice.
The dice finally. All right.
Yeah, he kisses you on the brow and says, I'm only as good as I am trying to live up to you.
I snuggle up against him, like oh, let's have a nice moment.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think if we want to leave, we have to go tonight. And,
I think so too.
I tell him there's a maid who will be sleeping with me, but I've heard that she sleeps soundly, or that at least she'll sleep soundly tonight.
I'll be able to. I'll be in the stables, so meet me there.
All right. I think that's a great place to cut.
Stop.
And
yeah,
and it's late, so
yeah, that took a lot longer than I thought. Cool.
It's all good. It was super fun. I'm excited to pick up, sneaking down to the stables and head out of town.
From one tower town to another. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it like.
No, it was neat to see. We like patterns, and it was neat to see. It was neat to see. What a different iteration of the same thing looked like. And it was also really great to be able to use a lot of my peasant skills, that wouldn't necessarily otherwise come up. So I'm very happy to have gone from one tower to another. Man, if I ever needed to kill on a roll, it was that Soothing Platitudes roll. I got 2 6s on there too.
That would have been really bad if you had failed that. I think we should have established the failure, but I think he would have said you have to go on without me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was clearly where that was headed.
That's what I was feeling like, because he was going to give up. And that would have been terrible. So, yeah. It was worth it. Throw everything at that.
Cool. Shall we divvy up some Artha and then call this one a night?
Yeah, let's do it.
Driving the game forward with a belief.
Let's look at my beliefs. Pull them up.
You had you also had that instinct. Always tell everyone.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to. I'm sorry. We're doing the beliefs. Let's do the beliefs.
Yep. So my first belief was Voss is coming with me, doesn't believe we can see.
Oh, yeah.
We can. I think that
absolutely. Persona. Yeah.
Oh, I should uncheck these because that was from previous. Yeah. So
Persona.
Yeah. Did it. All right. The Elves' Wrath is unparalleled. I will learn to sing so that I do not earn it again. Didn't come up.
Not really.
The Soldier's Lament is one of the sad songs. I'll make the outpost of dwarves and beseech them. I feel like that's what was driving me, and that's what kept me moving. So feels like a fate.
Yep.
Cool. All right. All right. So that's the beliefs.
Playing an instinct that makes the character's life difficult. I think you get it. You get a fate for telling them of the impending doom.
Yep. Each night, inventory of provisions, and when a stranger buys, stand behind boss. Yeah, neither of those made her life difficult. So
cool. Invoking a trait.
Her traits. I wasn't looking at her traits. I should have been. Her traits are ambitious, early riser, a little fat, claustrophobic, and one eye taken by a spiteful elf. Oh, and
Oh,
charming.
the one eye did.
The one eye, it was huge. Yeah, the one eye
Yeah.
was driving
Fate.
everything.
Fate for that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool.
yeah,
Humor, right skill, right time. The other ones are really weird with one person.
yeah, yeah. I think we opted to not do them.
Okay.
So I'm
Greater
taking,
goals, not really. Personal goals, we already had one. Beyond the call, not really. Cool.
yeah. Um,
Sounds good. You got some Martha.
yeah, I got, let's see, it looks like 1, 2, 3 fate and 1 persona.
Great.
Uh,
Fantastic.
9 and 3. Oh, and I should mark that I spent 2 persona on soothing platitudes. That'll be my grayscale. Never. Three fate and 2 persona have been spent on it so far. I only need 17, 8, and 3 more, respectively. All good. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you so much. That was a blast, as always.
My pleasure. I didn't think it was going to be a weird nightly police separating your character, thinking that she was being domestically abused. Like that was not it. We were talking about this off the show, but I really didn't like think, oh, this is how I'm going to challenge Sean's beliefs tonight. It's just like I was playing the NPCs and I was like, okay, this is what they're seeing. Oh shit, this is what they're going to think.
Yeah.
And it did challenge your beliefs, I think, in a weird way. But
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think I mean, I think a lot of people asked me why the hell you're doing this, which is my third
right,
belief.
right,
Like a lot of folks just thought that makes no sense.
yeah,
And so that came up. And yeah, I think the Voss establishing that Voss is you know, to be, is a worthy person and what hadn't been hurting me, I think it's huge.
yeah.
I think next time we see somebody on the road, if we do that again, then that would feel that wouldn't feel right. But this was great. I really enjoyed this whole session, and
Cool,
so
cool, cool.
it also felt really real. I mean, Bina is not a badass adventurer, you know.
Right, right,
Right, like these are the kind of problems that she can deal with. So
yeah,
I appreciate you keeping them on a level that, like, she's, if a troll comes up,
right. She's not in
will
trouble.
practice her speed skill.
Yes. What? How close is she to opening like persuasion?
Not very close.
No.
No, because her will is only 3. So I mean, she needs
Oh,
7
okay, she needs like
tests.
7 tests. Okay, so she's had
Yeah.
like 2 or 3.
This was her 3rd. Yeah. So she
Okay.
needs 4 more persuasion tests.
Okay.
So, we'll get there, but I don't think her will is likely to advance to the point where she would need fewer.
Right.
She only needs 2 difficult and 1 challenging. Her will might advance.
Awesome.
Might get it. Actually, what's the rule about whether a beginner's luck goes to practicing beginner's luck or raising the ability? Because I think if it would be difficult or challenging before you double it, it goes into the ability instead of practice.
I will find that out in between games.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because if so, then that ob 4 would have been difficult, or would have been challenging, actually, and I would mark it as a challenging rather than.
Okay.
So she might actually be possibly raising her will too.
Cool.
So
cool. That's huge.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that she's. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, it makes sense for the character, and also when you start with really low stats, it's easier to raise them.
Right.
So,
right.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So everybody watching, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
This was great times, John. It was always fun to have you yakking at us in chat. And we will be back, I'm sure, another time. We've got nothing on the schedule, but this is too good to not come back to.
So, yeah. Sure. Thank you.
All right. Where is the clicky thing? If I can find
the clicky thing.
This is how I end every single show. Okay, we'll go see you guys later. Wait.
I kind of sink into my couch until I'm like half a face.
Until you just disappear. Right. Good
Until I
night, all.
disappear. Good night.